Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawk. We are Minnesota.
It was an odd, bizarre start to the series last night. Ian Kinsler hit a first-pitch homer, and then it was on. J.D. Martinez dropped a routine fly ball, but he also hit a late home run. Miguel Sano helped the Twins climb out of an 8-0 hole, and they eventually tied it, but wound up losing the game 10-8. So it is anyone's guess what's in store tonight in Game 2 as this series continues for the Tigers and the Twins in Detroit. Good evening once again from Comerica Park. I'm Marnie Gellner. The Twins last night trailed 8-0 after one inning. And given the way the season has gone so far, it could have stayed a one-sided blowout game. But the Twins showed some fight. They made a game of it. And in doing so, played with a lot of pride and played with a lot of heart.
I can handle losses like that. We've beat ourselves a lot throughout the course of the first 30-something games or whatever it is, making mental mistakes and that kind of thing, and you look up when we're down, and at the end of the game we beat ourselves. Unlike last night, we're down early. We find ways offensively to manufacture runs, 1 run, 2 runs an inning, and you look up and we're tie ball game in the 8th inning. I told everybody in here afterwards that I enjoyed that. I can deal with those losses, the fight that we had and how we tried to come back and played good defense, and Dean picked us up for 6, 7 innings, whatever it was. All around a good baseball game. We just flat out got beat.
And after the game, the Twins made a roster move. They sent last night's starter, Jose Barrios, to AAA Rochester. They recalled lefty Taylor Rogers. Paul Molitor said they want to get Barrios back on track and that his command up here just wasn't what they had seen in AAA. So they hope Barrios gets himself right and quickly. Coming up, Tigers starter and former Twin Mike Pelfrey is looking for his first win of the season. The Twins, meanwhile, are looking for their first win over the Tigers. They're 0-4 so far, but they're trying to change that tonight. Dick and Bert set up Game 2 after this.
In Detroit, and tonight it's game 2 between the Twins and the Tigers. Two starting pitchers who are off to poor starts in 2016. Phil Hughes going for the Minnesota Twins against a former teammate of his, Mike Pelfrey, in his first year with the Detroit Tigers. And we welcome you to Detroit. Comerica Park is where we're at tonight. Dick and Bert with you for game 2 between the Twins and the Tigers. Wild ball game last night. A lot of runs scored in the ball game last night. And based on how Phil Hughes and Mike Pelfrey have fared so far this year, we might see a few runs again tonight.
See, I'm counting on a 1-0 ball game in about 2.5 hours. That's it. But I don't think that's going to happen either. I'm just out there. But, you know, look at these starters right here. For Phil Hughes, yeah, he has struggled. His first 3 starts, very good, but his last 4, you can see the high earned run average, especially his last 3. Phil needs to have a good outing here tonight. What he needs to do is find that cutter. That was his big pitch over the last couple of years that made him a very good winner for the Twins. Needs to work ahead in the count. That's what Phil always does. He needs to change speeds with his curveball and get out of the first 2 innings quickly, because 14 of the 27 runs he's given up have been given up in the first 2 innings.
Mike Pelfrey's coming off his best start for the Detroit Tigers, but he too has struggled this year.
Yeah, you know what? We don't know all about Mike Pelfrey. He'll challenge you with the fastball. He's got good movement, but he'll leave some pitches up. His walks are very high this year. Coming off a very good start, it'll be interesting to see how he fares here tonight.
Signed by the Tigers because he has done a good job of keeping the ball in the ballpark. Yet last night we had 18 runs and 5 home runs. We'll see if we'll have more of the same tonight. Apart for the Tigers in the 4th inning. Nick Castellanos was called out on strikes. And the home plate umpire, Doug Eddings, had had enough of Brad Ausmus, who was ejected. And then Ausmus came out, put on quite a show after the ejection. He wanted to get his money's worth and very animatedly put on a show for the fans here. They loved it. But the end result of all of it is that Brad Ausmus was suspended for a game. He's serving the suspension tonight. So Gene Lamont, who's 1-0 on the year because he took over for Ausmus last night in the win, will be the manager tonight. Down and in to Joe Mauer leading off tonight's ball game. Ball 1.
And Mike Pelfrey on the mound for Mike Pelfrey, making his 8th start, his 2nd against the Twins. He and Ricky Nolasco hooked up back in Minnesota back on May 1st.
Mauer slaps it foul, 1-1. The Menards batting order for the Twins in game 2. Joe Mauer still in the leadoff spot. Jorge Polanco at short batting 2nd, then Miguel Sano. Byung Ho Park, Trevor Plouffe, Brian Dozier, Eddie Rosario, Juan Centeno, and Danny Santana. 1-1 to Mauer. Still trying to feel comfortable in that leadoff spot. And a Tapper foul, 1-2.
Well, Mike Pelfrey, a free agent over the winter, signed a 2-year contract with the Detroit Tigers, and he's off to a slow start. 0-4 on the year in his first 7 starts. Very high, 5.80 ERA. 17 walks in 35 2/3 innings, and then 49 hits. Add that, a lot of base runners off of Pelfrey.
1-2 to Mauer. And we mentioned that Mike, of course, didn't have 3 good years with the Twins, but he did a better than average job of keeping the ball in the ballpark. Just 11 home runs allowed last year, but he's already given up 6 this year.
Well, when he is on, he'll get a lot of ground ball outs.
2-2. And now a full count. Take a look at the umpires tonight. Twin Cities native Jeff Nelson behind the plate. Ben May, Corey Blazer, Doug Eddings on the bases.
See, I disagree a little bit with Major League Baseball and that 1-game suspension for Ausmus, only because, Sparky Anderson, Earl Weaver, Billy Martin, they never got suspended. They put on a show. Fans loved it.
Mauer strikes out, 1 away.
And Pelfrey picks up a strikeout, his 21st in 36 innings pitched.
Northland Ford defense for the Tigers. Upton, Maben, Martinez, the outfielders. Castellanos, Iglesias, Kinsler, Cabrera, the infielders, and James McCann back behind the plate. He's had some injury issues and offensively off to a very, very slow start. 1 down, and here's Jorge Polanco. And there is strike 1.
That strikeout of Joe Mauer right there. He's 0 for his last 13, and he's been swinging and missing a lot, unlike we saw Joe even a week ago. But it's been a struggle for him.
And Polanco fouls it over the Tiger dugout. Eduardo Nunez had been hot for a long time, and Twins have been riding him first at third base, then at shortstop for a long time, getting a night off. And Polanco's been swinging the bat okay, getting a chance to start. Had a good game in Cleveland over the weekend.
Yeah, hit his first major league home run. That coming in Cleveland.
Inside, 1-2.
Well, that's what Mike Pelfrey does. You saw that ball just miss the inner part of the plate. He'll throw that 2-seamer in on left-handers and hope it comes back and clips that inner part of the plate.
1-2.
McCann again sitting inside.
Called third strike.
There it is.
2 down. Pelfrey, who had 5 shutout innings against the Orioles and then started wobbling a little bit in the 6th, and they took him out. Off to a good start here tonight.
Look at the 2-seamer. Look at the movement right there. McCann just holds it. And Polanco's reaction was to back up, and the ball came over the inner part of the plate.
Miguel Sano will bat after 2 strikeouts to start the game. When Pelfrey pitched against the Twins at Target Field, he faced 23 batters and retired just 12 of them.
Well, the Twins scored a couple runs off of him in the bottom of the first back on May 1st, and then he put 3 zeros on the board. Then they knocked him out in the 5th inning. Gave up 5 runs, and the Tigers ended up coming back and winning that ball game 6-5.
2-0 now to Sano.
Pelfrey, 32 years old, of course. A tall drink of water, 6'7", about 240.
And now 3-0. There should be no mystery about Mike Pelfrey. There should be no surprises. He might have 3 or 4 really good innings here, and then it might all blow up in his face in the 5th. So no, green lighted. He taps it foul, 3-1. He may get knocked out in the 2nd inning. He may pitch into the 7th.
Yeah, Pelfrey, 3 seasons with the Twins, 64 starts, 11 wins, 27 losses, an ERA just under 5. And those are his career numbers. Started with the Mets, then the Twins, now here in Detroit.
3-1. And Sano hits another one foul. This one into the Tiger dugout.
You can see he's establishing that sinking fastball early in this ballgame.
Twins know all about the Orioles and how good they can hit the baseball. And Pelfrey shut him down for 5 innings in his last start. Full count.
Another sinker down and in. And it ends up and in for a walk. And 18 walks now in 36 1/3 innings for Pelfrey.
The designated hitter, Byung-Ho Park. Twins were expecting to be very patient, deliberate with Park and his transition to baseball over here. And you look at the season so far, and you shudder to think where the Twins would be without him. I mean, simply put, he's been their best offensive player in terms of run production, extra base power, hitting just .257, but 9 home runs and 15 runs batted in.
And 257 isn't really that bad for a guy that has never faced a lot of these pitchers. Now, of course, he's seeing Pelfrey for the second time. He went 1 for 2 against Mike Pelfrey back in May. He's knocked in 15 runs. And the home runs first in the American League as far as rookies. He's got 6 doubles, a triple with the 9 home runs.
2-0. Liner hit to the glove of Iglesias. Pretty well hit ball, the only ball put in play in a scoreless first inning. Phil Hughes to the mound when we come back. Gave Jose Barrios his welcome to the big leagues moment last night with the first pitch home run. Ended up sending Barrios temporarily off the big league roster. The Menards batting order has Kinsler leading off. J.D. Martinez homered last night. He'll hit second. Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, Nick Castellanos with a big home run. Justin Upton, Cameron Maybin, James McCann, Jose Iglesias. Same lineup except for the catching spot.
That's Phil Hughes on the mound here tonight, making his 8th start, looking for his 2nd win. Of course, a strike thrower, only 8 walks in 36 1/3 innings, but it's been the location of the other pitches that have been bothering Phil Hughes. He needs a good outing here tonight. I'll say that over and over and over, but 9 of the runs of the 27 runs he's allowed have come in the first inning, earned runs, so needs to get through the first couple innings.
1 strike. And a ball lined to left. And that's hit right to Rosario. 1 away. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Rosario in left, Santana in center, Sano in right. Blue, Polanco, Dozier, Mauer with Centeno behind the plate. Polanco, we've seen him at second base, now getting a start at short. And when I asked Paul Molitor the other day about Polanco's long-term positioning in the field, and he said, well, jury's kind of out, but Paul likes him a little bit better. There's a foul fly down the right field line, and that's in the first row. Paul said he thinks he'll have a better future at second base, but he can play the left side of the infield as well, and he's getting that chance here tonight. 1 strike to J.D. Martinez. And outside, 1-1. Two starting pitchers tonight have a combined 1-loss record of 1-10 and a combined ERA of over 6.
That's why I said it's going to be a 1-0 ball game.
2-1. And a high pop-up, almost the same spot as the first one, but Sano running over, runs out of room.
And Phil Hughes, we know Phil Hughes. This is his 3rd season with the Twins. He's a fly ball pitcher. Doesn't get too many ground ball outs. Two years ago, an outstanding year, a 16-game winner when he worked just over 200 innings. And then last year, spent some time on a disabled list, won 11 ball games in 25 starts.
Little nubber, and Hughes, well, no, it's Centeno running up the line. Can't get there before it trickles into foul territory.
Phil Hughes pitched against the Tigers back in late April, on April 29th. He lost 9-2 in that ball game. Worked 5 innings, gave up 4 runs. Solo home run to Miguel Cabrera, who's on deck. But he's always pitched pretty well here over his career. This is his 18th career start. And in 8 starts here at Comerica Park, got a very good 3.10 earned run average. I think maybe because he's a fly ball pitcher and there's a lot of room in the outfield here.
Hughes wants a different baseball. 3-2. Drilled to center field. Martinez has the game's first hit. So a couple of well hit balls here early on against Phil Hughes, and that'll bring up Cabrera. Our Toyota key stat tonight: Miguel Cabrera really enjoyed matchups against Phil Hughes, first when Hughes was with the Yankees and then coming over within the American League Central.
Let's take a look at the hot zones against Phil Hughes. You can see he likes that ball kind of middle in. And the best place to pitch him, if you could pitch him, I don't know why you would, up and away. He's got power to all fields. Do you see the belt high away?
Hughes has had his own issues in the early innings in his last few starts, hoping to get a double play grounder off the bat of Cabrera, who hit into a double play last night. On the outside corner, 1-1.
See, Phil really doesn't have that two-seam fastball, and always surprised that he didn't come up with some type of movement. His fastball has always been pretty straight. And when he is on, he'll create a good downward angle, but he has been up in the zone a lot, and that little cutter he'll throw in righties and clip that inner part of the plate, it has not been there.
There's a breaking ball bending over for a strike.
So I said in the scouting report, he needs to change speeds, and he does that with his breaking ball. Not too many change-ups.
I don't think you want to throw that pitch.
I was just going to say, you don't want to throw that again.
Not in that spot, no. If you throw it and Cabrera is expecting it or has seen it recently, it might end up a long way from home plate. Another line drive. And they're playing Pepper with Rosario in left field. Here's a long throw all the way to Mauer on the fly. So everything's been hit right on the button here in the first inning.
And he came back with that same pitch, but it's just a little bit inside, a little pitch by pitch. First pitch, fastball away. He misses away. And then the fastball called about belt high, then the slow curveball. Then he came back with another one. It was down, but Cabrera hit it sharply, but right at Rosario.
2 down. Victor Martinez will bat. Twins cooled off Martinez last night after he had a torrid series at Target Field in late April, early May.
This guy can hit. Doesn't matter if he's a right-handed hitter or a left-handed hitter.
Another liner. And Sano makes a shoe-top catch. Miguel Sano with a nice running catch in fair territory. 4 line drives off of Phil Hughes in a scoreless first inning.
Yeah, Phil Hughes better be by the dugout congratulating his outfielders. What a great catch by Sano.
Sano has improved in right field, and you can't help but wonder, is this a ball that he would have caught in April?
Wow, this ball smoked right there. Sano just reaches down. He's a good athlete for as big as he is. He's very, very quick.
He seemed to get a really good jump on a ball that, maybe in April, as he was trying to feel comfortable out there, he wouldn't have reacted quite as quickly to that hooking, sinking line drive. 1-0 to Trevor Plouffe. Another line drive. We've had 6 balls put in play, and they've all been bullets. Park lined out to end the first inning, and now Plouffe starts the second with a single. Let's find Marty Gellner.
Brian Dozier comes to the plate now, guys, and Dozier was teammates with Mike Pelfrey for 3 seasons in Minnesota, and tonight Dozier told me that Pelfrey is his all-time favorite teammate, and here's why. Dozier said, baseball's a tough game, and there are a lot of nights when you're just going to stink, and Mike Pelfrey will tell you that, and he'll be the first guy to tell you when he stinks, and he said he'll give you everything he has, though, every night, and Dozier said he's never heard Pelfrey make one single excuse for pitches like that. He is completely accountable. He said he may throw 2 innings, he may throw 7 innings, but Pelfrey will give you absolutely everything he has.
Yeah, he gave up too much right there. He really reached out, and you see where that ball got past McCann in a heartbeat, so it'll be a wild pitch charged to Mike Pelfrey, his second of the year.
What would Bob Uecker say? Just a bit outside. Well, now Dozier's job is at the very least to advance Plouffe to third base here. Twins want to get that first run, even though might be a day where there are a lot of runs scored. It's a lot more fun playing with a lead. 1-0.
You're not going with my 1-0 ball game.
No.
Okay. Well, you know what, and I agree with Brian Dozier. Mike Pelfrey is a great teammate, and it's a shame that he was not healthy enough, and coming off that Tommy John surgery and then some other injuries that, he didn't pitch to what he thought he should have pitched in a Twins uniform. And it's been a tough go here. But he's a guy that, gets along with everybody, and he works his tail end off. It's just the results have not been there.
1-1 to Dozier. Chopper to third. No place for Plouffe to go.
Well, until Brian Dozier realizes the situation as a team player, he's got to try to hit that ball towards second base. Just always pull happy. And it's an unsuccessful at-bat for Brian Dozier. Does not advance Trevor Plouffe.
Here's Eddie Rosario. Rosario, the Twins hope, starting to pick things up a little bit.
He's been swinging a better bat as of late.
Twins are waiting for one or the other, Rosario or Arcia, to take charge of a regular outfield job. Down and away, ball one. Take a look at the location of Pelfrey's pitch to Dozier. And you can see it.
It's a good sinker, but there was no intent on taking that ball the other way. Yeah, Rosario currently on a 7-game hitting streak. 8 hits and 26 at-bats, a .308 batting average. 3 doubles, driven in 4 runs.
2-0.
When you don't give yourself up, and those are the little things I think that Paul Molitor would like to see more of advancing the runner. Now this at-bat for Rosario, he's got to think base hit rather than maybe just making good contact, sacrifice fly. Boom, it's a 1-0 ball game.
2-0 to Rosario. 2-1. You, Jack, Roy, Tim Laudner, you always talk about how teams will make adjustments to you, whether you're a pitcher or a hitter, and it's painfully evident that teams have adjusted to Brian Dozier's intent to pull the ball, and it goes far beyond the infield shifts. It's where they're pitching him. You know, last year he had the great first half, went to the All-Star game. Should have gone to the All-Star game because he was being pitched inside. He opened up, hit a lot of home runs, but he simply isn't getting much to hit on the inner half of the plate, and he's still trying to pull it. And now 3-1 to Rosario with Centeno on deck.
Yeah, that might have been the split finger right there by Pelfrey. It's a good pitch when he can get it over the plate. But that one way outside. McCann had to scoot over and catch that ball.
Three and one. Twins trying to build an inning against a former teammate. Right back to the mound. Pelfrey looks at Plouffe and throws to first. 2 down. And that'll bring up Centeno.
On Saturday, Centeno welcomed himself into the big leagues with his first major league home run.
That was a big one because the Twins had fallen behind, and that one turned the game around. Then he followed up on Sunday by getting another start, getting another extra base hit.
Yeah, 7 hits and 15 at-bats so far for the youngster.
2 doubles and a home run. Yeah. See if he can get a 2-out hit here to get the Twins on the board. Down and away, ball 1.
Centeno signing a minor league contract over the winter by the Twins. First came to the big leagues with the Mets in 2013. A little bit in 14, and then the Brewers last year. Not a lot of major league at-bats, only 61 coming over to the Twins. But so far, so good.
Down and in, and it's 2-0. Pelfrey falling behind the hitters here in the second inning.
And we have seen it before. Mike Pelfrey, when there's a runner on, the game just slows down. You can see he's faced 8 batters, only got ahead of 1 batter. .31 pitches so far for Pelfrey, only 14 over the plate.
2-0 to Centeno. And a bouncer to Iglesias. Twins get a single and a wild pitch, getting Plouffe to second with nobody out, but he never moves beyond that, and we're still scoreless. No score going to the bottom of the second. Your 1-0 call. is
So far,
looking
so
pretty
good. Yep.
The Tigers hit 4 rockets against Phil Hughes. 3 of them were caught. Here's Castellanos to start the second inning. Foul fly, 1 strike.
And Castellanos with 8 home runs, 3 of them against Twins pitching so far this year. Leading the American League in hitting. Victor Martinez right there with him. Jose Altuve. Guy can play some baseball.
Swing and a miss, and that's been a missing result for Hughes. Really over the last year and a half, just not as many swings and misses. And he gets ahead of Castellanos now 0-2. Hughes pitched 4 innings, struck out 4 men in his last start.
A good breaking ball right there. Good location. They tried the curveball, and Centeno, that's where he wanted it. He had an account, see if Castellanos would maybe swing, but he held up. Try it again. Nope. Fastball away. Get it away. That's a. See, and Phil has one of those deliveries because he's had some back issues. He really doesn't bend his back much. And it's hard for him, I think, to create that good downward plane.
2-2.
Another fastball. Get it down. Another fastball up. You know, when Phil lets that ball go, watch his delivery right here. That's fine. Good balance point. But then you can see him kind of stand straight up a little bit, almost recoiling a little bit. And it's tough to get the ball down in that strike zone.
Backhanded by Polanco. And Mauer with a nice scoop at first on the backhand side. Castellanos says better take a look at it. Nice pick by Mauer. Polanco had to field that, and it was almost his momentum was carrying him back to the outfield grass. He wasn't able to get much on the throw.
Gene Lamont has to be a little, you know, who's got the phone now? I'm the manager. He usually had the phone. Take a look right here.
Yeah, he's out.
Got him. Got him. Good play. Good pick by Joe. You know, it makes that easier for Joe is that ball ended up just on where the grass and the dirt meet. That ball's a little bit closer. Might have been even a tougher pick.
Jeff Nelson came over to confirm with Gene Lamont that no, they weren't going to challenge it. Castellanos still thinks he's safe. We learned that very on with the advent of replay. The runners or the batters are wrong 75% of the time.
So you're saying there's a chance. You saw Gene Lamont kind of smiling like, okay, that was my job. Okay, now that I'm the manager, who's he going to get?
Well, not Brad Ausmus can't manage tonight, but he could be in the video room, right?
He could.
As long as he doesn't come back onto the field. That's what got John Gibbons in trouble today because of the incident the other day. He got a 3-game suspension. Here's a weak pop-up toward Mauer. And a fair ball catch for out number 2. And Cameron Maben will hit. So Coors Light Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. And since May 10th, Twins are right up there in terms of home runs in their games. They've hit 10, they've allowed 13.
Yeah, Twins have hit 36 home runs on the year. They have given up 50 home runs. The Tigers 46 home runs. They've given up 43.
Here's Maben. Made his return to the Tiger lineup last night. A successful one. A walk, a couple of hits.
He had some injuries in spring training that put him on the shelf at the beginning of the year.
Another base hit.
Goodness, he's 3 for 3. We showed you Castellanos leading the American League in hitting. Should be this guy. He's 3 for 3.
We'll bring up James McCann.
Well, keep an eye on Maben. He has outstanding speed. He stole a base in last night's ball game. Omar Vizquel talking to him right there with 2 outs.
McCann off to a slow start. Yeah, he's had some injury issues. He's done very well against Phil Hughes, but so far this year, 6 hits, all of them singles in 48 at bats.
And a throw over. There's only been one stolen base attempt against Phil Hughes in his first 7 starts, and it was successful.
Ooh.
Maybe going on first movement.
He took 2.5 steps towards second, then retreated. Hughes at least had the presence of mind to step off the rubber and then look over. And strike one.
Yeah, Maybin with 117 stolen bases. You can see trying to read first movement, but able to get back. Been caught only 30 times.
Swing and a miss. He was leaving a pitch up.
And McCann last year caught in 114 ball games. He hit 264, drove in 41 runs with 7 home runs.
Step off and a look over.
Remember a little over a year ago, McCann, when Detroit was in Minnesota, he hit his first major league home run. That was an inside the park home run. That against Aaron Thompson back on April 29th of last year.
Swing and a miss again. And that ends the inning. A 2-out single does no damage. On to the third in this pitcher's duel. Is presented by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. And by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Danny Santana to lead off the top of the third against Mike Pelfrey. Twins have taken a walk and a single against him, and now Santana drops down an awfully nice bunt. And Santana gets a bunt single.
Yeah, I mean, nothing that Castellanos could do right there. Actually, Mike Pelfrey kind of got in the way a little bit, but an outstanding bunt. I think Castellanos looking for the bunt, but he still laid it down.
I don't know if Rod Carew is watching tonight, but one thing I'll bet he will like about seeing that is Santana actually squared, and the bat was still as the ball was coming to the plate. We've seen, well, Kurt Suzuki tried to do it last night. Just snap around and hope that you put the ball on the ground. And it seems like 3 times out of 4, you're going to pop the ball up in the air. Santana aboard. Of course, he's got speed, and now Mauer. Outside, ball 1.
And teams have run against Mike Pelfrey. Of course, when he's on, he'll get ground ball outs, but 7 stolen bases off of Mike Pelfrey this year in 8 attempts.
Joe now 4 for 24 as a leadoff batter. Has drawn 3 walks.
And Santana with 7 stolen bases on the year in 11 attempts.
First time through the order, the Twins have 2 hits and a walk against Pelfrey. And Santana,
They did Maben.
He did the same thing that Maben did, and Pelfrey spun around and looked towards second base. Santana left the ball game last night. He was pinch hit for by Oswaldo Arcia because he had some blurry vision. And now Mauer takes a strike, 1-1. And got a good night's sleep and reported to the ballpark today. Everything, they thought there was an abrasion on an eye and was causing a lot of watering as the game progressed last night.
You know, Cabrera's such a big kid. You see him kind of holding on to the belt of Santana, like, stay here. And Santana just getting back. Pelfrey in his career does have 12 pickoffs. A quick throw over. Santana using the outfield side of that first base bag to get that hand on it.
1-1 to Mauer. Mauer's been in the batter's box for seemingly 4 minutes, and he's had 2 pitches thrown to him. Speaks to the pace slowing down with men on base and Pelfrey on the mound. And Mauer bunts it up the line, and that will roll foul. Very little dirt between the foul line and the grass, if any. And Mauer tried to bunt in front of Castellanos, 1-2.
Yeah, almost too fine of a bunt right there. All he had to do was just kind of lay it on the ground. Not the easiest thing to do, but Castellanos playing towards short. And Joe, as I mentioned, you know, been struggling as of late. First 21 ball games, the high average, but over the last 16, the average has come down.
And we've seen more strikeouts as of late. Struck out in the first inning, and now it's a 1-2 count.
He has 1 home run on the year, and that came in that first series in Baltimore.
And a fly to right center field, hanging in the air from Maben. 1 down. And that'll bring up Polanco. Polanco called out on strikes his first time up.
And opponents came into this ball game in 7 starts against Pelfrey hitting .338. Left-handers hitting .413. Right-handers only .257.
Only lefty on the bench tonight for the Twins is Arcia. And that's because the other, very close.
Yeah.
And Santana just got back.
Little hesitation here by Santana, but able to dive back before Cabrera. And that's the importance, again, of diving back on the outfield side.
In this day and age of replay, it really is important because that little split second, as Cabrera in this instance was trying to bring the tag over.
And Cabrera's a right-handed thrower. That glove in the left hand, it takes him a little bit longer to apply that tag.
Outside, ball 1. Santana doing everything he can to distract Pelfrey. He's taken a short burst towards second base with just about every delivery to the plate. And everybody in the infield will say he's going, and then he stops.
Sure, McCann, that drives him crazy. Do I throw? Do I keep it? What do I do? Whoa, watch
Up
out.
and in. And Santana doing a really good job to this point, distracting everybody. The pitcher, the catcher.
You can see the smile of Santana Cabrera giving him heck.
2-0 now to the Twins shortstop.
Should get a good pitch to hit here. He fouled it off.
And chased by Castellanos, but he has no play. 2-1.
Polanco only 22 years old. Signed by the Twins out of the Dominican Republic back in 2009. Came up in 2014 for only 5 games. Last year only 4 games. This is his 3rd stint this season already with the Twins.
2-1.
Oh, what a jump.
And a ball hit to right center field. Santana was already at second base. He'll go to third and hold up there.
What a jump.
If Pelfrey had stepped off and looked to second like he did a few pitches ago, they would have had him at second, but he delivered to the plate. Polanco dumped a single.
Yeah, the only thing I question right here, why stop? I mean, Santana right there, my goodness, what a jump he had. And he scoots over to third. So runners at the corners, 1 out.
Well, we'll see if Polanco can disrupt things on the bases a little bit here. Not sure taking off here with Sano at the plate, but drawing some attention, maybe causing a distraction. Sano walked his first time up. His 21st walk of the team, second only to Joe Mauer. And an off-speed pitch, tapped foul.
Again, Pelfrey has had 6 double plays turned behind him. He started them off with that split finger at 81 miles an hour. Uses that as his changeup.
Big pop up near second base. And Maben calling off Kinsler. Out number 2.
Yeah, ball got in just a bit. And Sano popped it straight up.
Time now for greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. News and notes from around baseball. Big pitching matchup in New York. Max Scherzer, Noah Syndergaard, Kershaw, Bumgarner, Keuchel, Greinke, all scheduled to pitch tonight. Freddie Gonzalez was dismissed as manager of the Braves today. He actually found out about it last night in a rather awkward manner. After the game in Pittsburgh, he turned on his computer and someone had made arrangements for him to fly from Pittsburgh to Atlanta today. He had not had a conversation with the management that he had been fired, but he presumed that he was probably going to get fired if they were flying him from Pittsburgh to Atlanta today.
Well, hopefully he got first class tickets.
Strike 1 to Byung-Ho Park. Park hit a liner to the shortstop Iglesias.
It's better than finding out that they rented you a car.
One strike to Park. Twins need a 2-out hit here. They've had some opportunities in the last couple innings to get the first run of the game. Nice stop by McCann, keeping Santana at third and Polanco at first.
There's that splitter right there that went straight down, and like you mentioned, McCann did a good job. You know what Pelfrey does, gets that ball and then he'll kind of grind it into the, you see the hip right there, set it up as a splitter, and if he's going to throw another pitch, he doesn't change it until he brings it in his glove. See the movement in his glove?
Up around the hands, and it's 2-1.
Pelfrey making his third career start against the Twins. His first came when he was with the New York Mets back in 2010. Faced the Twins in New York. Got a win in that ball game, a 5-2 win over Kevin Slowey and the Twins. See the movement? It's more the two-seam fastball.
Tapper foul, 2-2.
And when I say a two-seam fastball, if you have a baseball, you kind of put your fingers on the seams where they become the closest. And if you get out front, you can make that ball sink, and that's a big pitch for Pelfrey, that sinker. There's the split finger. I think one time Jack Morris said it's not quite the way that he held it, but everybody holds it different. Now he's going back to something else, a throw over to first.
When I was working with Jack in Chicago, I had a baseball. I said, "How did you grip it?" And he could still do it, spread his fingers as far apart, almost we're on 180 degree opposite sides of the baseball. I mean,
right.
that's far split apart. 2-2 to Byung-Ho Park. Polanco with a delayed steal. And he'll retreat on the foul ball. He took a little bunny hop and then took off towards second base.
Watch Polanco right there take off, and it's fouled off. The best split finger as far as somebody that could split their fingers like you're talking about right there, Brian Harvey was a reliever for the Angels that had a great split finger. He used to carry around a softball. I believe it wasn't a 16-inch, a 12-inch softball. And he would spread his fingers that, open. And
Tapper
just watching it do it, it looked like it hurt, just
right.
How they spread the fingers apart. Somebody told me one time Bruce Sutter, because he had great split finger, that he actually cut that skin. He had that skin cut.
Okay, now just don't tell.
That it opened the fingers up even more.
Okay, that's enough.
But then I shook Bruce Sutter's hand at the Hall of Fame, and of course I looked and I didn't see it. So
people back home, it's still the dinner hour. We don't need to hear about
stuff like that. It's just a fairy tale.
2-2 to Park. Polanco goes and the ball fouled back. We've seen this the last 3 years, and now the Tigers are getting a full dose of it. Park is just the fifth batter faced this inning, but it's taken 20 minutes, it seems like.
Yeah, he slows up the game with somebody on, and 50 pitches so far for Pelfrey. 19 in the first, 13 in the second, and 18 so far here in the third. 28 strikes of the 50 pitches thrown.
Another 2-2 to Park, having quite a battle with Pelfrey. Polanco goes, ball 3, and Polanco will steal. And Santana bluffed down the line, but will stay at third.
That ball had some tail on it from McCann to Kinsler, and Kinsler did the right thing. He came toward the infield to catch it in the air. So Polanco steals a base, his first of the year. Got a good jump. You see what Kinsler did a good job of that, getting to that ball before it hit the ground.
And now Park has worked the count full. A base open, Plouffe on deck. Popped up. And back is McCann, but he has no play.
And the ball getting in on Park, and he fouled it straight back.
It seems like 15 pitches with all the throws to first and the deliberate nature of the pitcher.
Yeah, he's got 52 pitches total toward home plate. He's got 20 over to first.
And a high fly to left field. Upton is there for the catch. Twins with a couple of singles, leaving 2 more in scoring position. Still no score. Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. Phil Hughes giving up a couple of singles, left 2 men aboard. He'll face Iglesias, Kinsler, and Martinez in the 3rd inning.
They take away the bunt from Iglesias. That brings Trevor Plouffe in.
Iglesias with a 3-run double in the 1st inning against Barrios last night. Came into the game with 3 runs batted in, and he doubled his RBI total with 1 swing. One and one. Pulled foul. 1-2. Barrios sent down, and will take his regular turn in the rotation for Rochester. One of the considerations, I'm sure, the fact that his next start would be scheduled against the Toronto Blue Jays. Pretty potent lineup. And in trying to recover from a very short start last night, Toronto probably wouldn't be the best team to try to pitch 6-7 innings against. 1-2. And a foul off a leg.
Yeah, and with Barrios going down, left-hander Taylor Roberts comes back up for the 2nd time.
Rogers,
excuse me.
1-2. The Twins, given Hughes' recent history, needed to protect themselves for a long night from the bullpen tonight, too. Here's a ball chopped to the left side. Nice pickup by Plouffe, and he fires over to Bauer.
Yeah, very nice play by Trevor.
1 down here in the 3rd inning. Join Fox Sports North and the Minnesota Lynx at Mall of America for the Let's Celebrate the Lynx event from noon to 2 p.m. Saturday, May 21st. Enjoy interactive games, register to win tickets and more. Visit foxsportsnorth.com. Click on upcoming events for details. Back to Kinsler. He had a rocket caught by Rosario back in the 1st inning. Tigers have won all 4 meetings between these 2 teams. And a first pitch strike.
A good breaking ball there to get ahead.
We've seen that a few times here, haven't we? A first pitch breaking ball for a called strike.
He's got to mix that in because we mentioned the fastball just not as fast as far as a velocity, 90, 91. Sometimes he could hit 92, 93, but doing a good job getting ahead. 10 batters, 7 per first pitch strikes.
Big fly, foul by Plenty. You know, when the Twins had Hughes 2 years ago, when he won 16 ball games, then at the end of the year they renewed his contract. He was throwing 94, 95 with his fastball, but now, you know, it might start at 92, but then it quickly drops down to about 90. At least that's what we've seen so far. That's a grounder, foul. And we got to be careful because, of course, he's got the cutter. But the point we were making with Roy Smalley and Jack Morris in your absence was, you know, when the four-seam fastball comes in just about the same speed as the cutter, then that lessens the effectiveness of both pitches.
Well, but when he was on a couple years ago, that cutter, I mean, that was nasty.
High and deep to left. Rosario back with room. Right at the fence, 2 away.
He gave it a ride, but Rosario stepped back right against the wall and caught it.
2 down in the third. The Twins Flex Plan gives you the flexibility to choose your games and your number of seats. Choose in advance, even the day of the game, so don't plan, Flex Plan. Go to twinsbaseball.com/flex or call 833-TWINS to learn more. JD Martinez will bat. Weather's supposed to be spectacular this weekend at Target Field for the series with Toronto. And let's hope that the quality of baseball improves and everybody can enjoy being at Target Field this weekend. 1-2 to Martinez. And outside 1-1.
You know, one thing I have not seen Phil do yet, and that's to try to throw that cutter in on right-handers that comes back over that corner. But, you know, that's the adjustment maybe he's got to make because it hasn't been there. There's the curveball rather than maybe a little cutter. You know, when a pitch isn't working, you work on the side, but in a ball game, if you're struggling with it, just go to that four-seam fastball. Mix in more breaking balls. Another breaking ball.
Backhanded beautifully by Polanco. Comes up firing. What a play.
Wow.
Jorge Polanco in the hole. Turns in a gem.
Great. As a great play. He had to go to deep short to make that play. It's how quick he got up. Watch this right there. Look how quick he pops up. And he popped up on that back leg, the planter leg, and threw a P over to Mauer across the diamond. Great defensive play.
Trevor Plouffe will lead off the fourth for the Twins. Inside ball one. Usually when managers, coaches talk about middle infielder, and they say, well, he probably projects more as a second baseman. The first thing you think of is, well, maybe he doesn't have the arm to be a shortstop. Well, we saw plenty of arm strength with him popping up, and as you said, he got his right leg dug in and he fired a bullet across the infield.
Sure did.
1-1 now to Plouffe. He singled, went to second on a wild pitch, and the Twins had a runner at second, nobody out, but they did not advance Plouffe beyond second base. And now 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Good sinking fastball there.
Trevor said sometimes when he swings and misses, he feels that pull in the rib cage a little bit.
McCann sitting inside for that sinker.
Chopper to short. Easy play for Iglesias. One down. And before Brian Dozier comes to the plate, let's check in with Marty Gelder.
We talked earlier, guys, about Brian Dozier and Mike Pelfrey still being good friends. And today, Dozier told me a couple of interesting tidbits about Pelfrey. First, that he's a Rain Man when it comes to card games, that Pelfrey can count cards better than anyone Dozier has ever seen. Take that for what it's worth. He also apparently holds a fork like a shovel and eats like a child. And then Trevor Plouffe told me that Pelfrey is a very active GM in fantasy football, that he makes 2 to 3 trades a day. He's always calling and texting his teammates trying to trade players. Plouffe said he's obsessive, but that is the very well-liked, very quirky Mike Pelfrey.
Thank you, Marty.
Yep, thank you.
Breaking ball down and away, and Dozier pops it up near the mound. Castellanos with the catch, 2 down. And that'll bring up Rosario. Well, there's no question Pelfrey was one of the more popular Twins in the clubhouse. Very difficult for him 2 years ago to sit out most of the season. Came back, and there were glimpses of excellence from Pelfrey, but just when you thought he was ready to lock down a game and give you 6-7 really good innings, things tended to fray around the edges in a hurry. Rosario with a liner to left, and it's a quick 1-2-3-4 for Pelfrey.
A pitcher's duel.
Fourth inning. Sanford Health injury report involving a former Twin. 2 weeks ago when we were in Houston, Gomez came back to the lineup 2 weeks ago tonight, in fact. after suffering a bruised cartilage in the rib cage area. And they put him on the disabled list with the same injury. He wasn't performing very well, hitting just 182.
Those things are lingering, and that's why Trevor Plouffe, you know, he's kind of nursed that little bit of a intercostal strain.
In Gomez's case, he actually bruised it making a diving attempt in the outfield, and it just hasn't gotten better. 1 strike to Cabrera, and now a ball, 1-1. Cabrera hit a line drive caught by Rosario in the first inning. And now a 1-hopper skip to Plouffe. For a guy who's a fly ball pitcher, suddenly now Phil Hughes is getting some ground ball outs.
Yeah, he got that ball nicely in on Cabrera right there to get the quick ground ball out.
Carsoup.com trivia since 1961. What player has the most all-time hits against the Twins? As Victor Martinez steps into the box. Victor is the active leader with 201.
I thought of Cal Ripken right away because he didn't miss too many games, I guess, you know, but.
Or Boggs, you know, his entire career in the American League, albeit in the other division.
Right.
Trying to think of somebody
in our division.
In our division. Brett, maybe? Tapper, foul, 1-1. I think I'll go with that. George Brett, Kansas City's always been in our division. Member of the 3,000 hit club. Experts in the truck have already said that's the wrong answer. They're sitting there with the, you know,
how about Frank Thomas?
Yeah, no, he didn't get 3,000 hits. I'm just thinking guys who got 3,000 hits. Bouncer to second, easy play for Dozier.
Why, you think because they had the most hits against the Twins that they had 3,000 hits?
I'm just saying the chances are better for somebody who's got 3,000 than somebody who's got 2,000. 2 down, another ground ball out. Here's Castellanos.
Well, that's a lot of hits right there that we showed. 201 hits for Victor Martinez.
Right.
So it's probably somebody that has over 201 hits then.
Against the Twins.
Yeah.
Castellanos with a ground ball out his first time up, and a swing and a miss.
Well, this is the best Phil has looked over his last 4 or 5 starts. Attacking the strike zone as he always does, but better location of a lot of these pitches.
He needed noise-canceling headphones in the first inning, but he got through it and hasn't given up much in the way of hard-hit balls since. 2 strikes to Castellanos.
Maybe that cutter inside. I think that's the first one I saw, and that's a pretty good pitch right there.
He started towards the Twins dugout. He thought he had the inside corner.
Yeah, Jeff Nelson, the home plate umpire. You see Centeno sitting right there. Yeah, sure enough, it's a strike.
Fox Tracks presented by Dodge, and now a pitch away, and it's 2-2. On the ground again. And Polanco fires to Mauer. 3 ground ball outs and a quick 1, 2, 3, 4 for Phil Hughes.
Pitcher's duel. there are here, and Twins fans, don't forget at Twin home games, you bring your Circle Me signs, you might find yourself in the Minnesota Lottery Winner's Circle where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
Mike Pelfrey delivering to Juan Centeno, ball one.
That's a nice road trip, though, going to Cleveland and then Detroit and probably back home.
It's kind of what we're doing. We went to Cleveland, now we're in Detroit, and then tomorrow we're going home.
That's right.
Down and in, and it's 2-0. Centeno bounced to short his first time up, then it'll be Santana and Mauer. Well, 5 years ago, we were
sad.
Yep, we were in Seattle when we got word that Harmon Killebrew had passed away 5 years ago today. And can honestly tell you, there's hardly a day goes by I don't think about Harmon yet.
He's a great man.
3-0 to Centeno, leading off the fifth inning. And a strike that covers the inside corner.
Yeah, one of my greatest moments was having the opportunity to speak at his funeral. So
in Arizona, and as luck would have it, in an otherwise very gloomy situation, the team, the Twins, were in Arizona the day of Harmon's funeral. And a strike called 3-2.
And I believe it was an off day.
No, it was not. No.
Did we have a game that night?
We had a day game Thursday in Oakland, and then we flew to Arizona.
Okay.
And the funeral was Friday morning. Full count to Centeno. And poked foul. Pelfrey's coming off a 1-2-3 fourth inning. Has retired 5 men in a row. Twins have picked up 3 singles and a walk.
Pelfrey with a couple strikeouts, the first 2 batters he faced here.
And a fly to center, and Maben goes back. Just gliding after it. Plenty of room to roam here in Detroit. He makes the catch one away. That'll bring up Santana. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. You can watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Santana dropped down a bunt single in the first pitch he saw, leading off the third. And he's got Castellanos 5 feet in on the grass at the beginning of this at bat. 1-0. High chopper. And Kinsler with a quick flip, 2 down. In his last start against the Orioles, we'll mention it again because he's on the verge of doing it again here tonight. Pelfrey had 5 shutout innings, and then the Orioles got a single, a double, a walk, and they got him out of there before the whole inning blew up. The bullpen came in and didn't do him any favors, but we'll see if the Twins can get something started here with 2 down in the 5th inning. Based on what we've grown to know about Joe Mauer over the last few years, I suspect more than any other hitter the Twins have, and maybe have had for quite some time, I think Joe's immune to where he hits in the batting order. I don't think it makes any difference to him whether it's third, second, fourth, first, wherever. 1 strike. So I don't think anyone should jump to the conclusion that he's struggling at the plate because he's been a leadoff batter. As I think our graphic showed in his last at bat, his struggles started before he became the latest leadoff hitter for the Twins. But of course, the idea in putting him there is he'd get some hits, and if he wasn't getting hits, he'd get some walks. And he hasn't done much of either one. 1-1. And a strike on the outside corner.
Well, he said the concussion issues are behind him, but the last 2 years it's been right around 260, 270, and that's where he's at now. .271 coming into this plate appearance. Three-time batting champ Joe Mauer back in 2006, 8 and 9. 9, of course, the American League MVP.
And a drive to right field. This one is deep and gone. Joe Mauer's second home run of the year. And I don't know that I was ever concerned about a home run ball for Joe hooking foul down the right field line.
Well, he got a pitch inside, turned on it, and gives the Twins a 1-0 lead. So some of the Twin fans on their feet. Joe Mauer hitting his second home run, the first one since that Orioles series. It opened up the season. So Pelfrey gives up a solo home run. That's his 7th home run allowed. And the Twins take a 1-0 lead.
Here's Polanco. And he takes ball 1. Of course, most of Joe's home runs go to left field. He's hit probably as many to straightaway center as he has pulled down the line like that one. Polanco rolls it to short. And Iglesias fires to Cabrera. The inning ends, but a 2-out home run by Joe Mauer, and the Twins have the first lead of the ball game. Twins fans hoping that this 1-0 lead will hold up. Here's a ball hit to center. Heading back is Santana. Oh, he pulls it in. Danny Santana streaking to the gap, and he hauls in a line drive off the bat of Justin Upton.
Yes, congratulations all around. The smile of Danny Santana saying, yes, there's one out, thanks to a great catch.
Well, we've had a great play in right by Sano. Good play by the shortstop Polanco, and now this catch on the first pitch of the 5th inning.
Yeah, Upton gave it a ride, but Santana, those short strides that he generates and leaps up and grabs it. Great catch.
8 in a row set down by Hughes. Last man to reach Maben, who singled to right with 2 outs in the 2nd. Maben 3 for 3.
Yeah, he's due to make it out.
1-1. Fly ball right field. And Sano puts it away. 2 down.
There's an out. Yeah, Maben You know, Red, we talked about a little bit last night, #1 pick by the Tigers back in 2005. He was traded by the Tigers in the Miguel Cabrera trade way back in 2007. Now he's back with the Tigers again.
9 in a row now sent down by Phil Hughes. Been a mixture of ground balls, 1 strikeout. He struck out McCann in the 2nd inning, and then 5 ground ball outs and 3 fly ball outs. Of course, they had the awkward situation here in Detroit where the new general manager, Al Avila, had to let his son go through free agency. Alex Avila signing with the White Sox. And one of the reasons they felt that it was time to do that was the development of McCann, who basically did at the major league level last year what he had done in the minor leagues 4 years prior. There's Al Avila replacing Dave Dombrowski last year. 2-1 to McCann. You know, McCann just put together solid numbers, but when you're a catcher and you put up solid offensive numbers, you emerge as a potential all-star. That's how soft the position of catching is in both leagues right now. It's amazing when you think of, you know, here the Twins, they had a batting champion as a catcher for 3 years. And now if a catcher hits 260 with a dozen home runs and drives in 65 runs, you know, they're ready to build a statue for him. And a quick 1-2-3 fifth. The Twins holding on to a 1-0 lead.
Did you say 1-0?
1-0. Thanks to some good defense for the Twins tonight. Remember this date too for David Wells' perfect game against the Twins. Paul O'Neill squeezing it, and David Wells threw a perfect game against the Twins on a Sunday afternoon at Yankee Stadium. That was the most amazing feat of the day, that his teammates were able to lift him up off the ground.
Yeah, took 4 of them, but
Paul Molitor was in the lineup for the Twins that day. Miguel Sano will lead things off. Swing and a miss. Sano with a walk in the first, a fly ball to center in the third. Park and Plouffe will follow. Pelfrey had that long inning in the third when he threw a lot of pitches, but still 77 pitches through 5 innings, and now outside 1-1. Just 21 pitches thrown, but it seemed like he was out there for a half an hour.
Well, 21 went to first base too.
2-1. And some other baseball news. The Chicago Cubs made what I thought was a shrewd signing today. They signed former Tiger and Twin closer Joe Nathan. Put him on the disabled list right away. They signed him to a major league deal, figuring that, hey, in the second half of the year, he veteran arm who has been repaired a couple of times now, Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, they put him on a 60-day disabled list. So
right.
They're looking for him, you know, as the summer progresses to hopefully pitch for them later on.
3-1 to Sano, leading off the 6th inning. And a high fly to right field, retreating is Martinez. Back at the wall, and that ball is gone. Sano to the opposite field, and it's 2-0.
And there goes my 1-0 ball game, but a home run by Sano, his 7th of the year.
Hit a home run to the pull side last night, and this was more impressive. Hitting what looked like a fly ball that just kept on carrying. 2-0.
Again, the power of this young 23-year-old is fun to watch. Pelfrey fell behind, came in with looked like a fastball. Sano got underneath it, but so strong he could hit that ball the other way into the stands over the 365 mark.
That was 8 rows back. Here is Park. Ball 1. Again, the one thing that Pelfrey did very well throughout his Twins tenure was keep the ball in the ballpark. And he now has given up 8 home runs already on the season.
Yeah, Pelfrey last year for the Twins, 164 2/3 innings in 30 starts, gave up only 11 home runs.
Ball drilled foul is uneven and is frankly unsuccessful as his Twins career was. He threw in the neighborhood of 350 innings and only gave up 29 home runs. But now he's averaging more than 1 home run allowed per start in a ballpark that is, like Target Field was, not considered to be a home run hitter's ballpark. Down and away, 2-2. This is a park, I think you would agree, that you can pitch to, right? I mean, with the spacious center field.
Yeah, if you can keep it like at that 365 mark towards center field and also toward the bullpen of the Tigers.
And Park fouls another one. He's really, to the extent that Pelfrey's pitch count is up in the upper 80s now, a lot of it has to do with Byung-Ho Park and his plate appearances. He's been battling Pelfrey with a lot of foul balls. And got him on an off-speed pitch.
Yeah, good split finger right there. Pelfrey picking up his first strikeout since the first inning.
On a beautiful night at Comerica Park. Somewhere out there is Marty Gelder.
Well, we saw Miguel Sano hit that home run here tonight. He also hit one last night. And his home runs, for whatever reason, seem to come in bunches. And I talked to him about that today, and he said he knows that happens. He's not sure why. He said he's still up there at the plate trying to hit line drives. He said sometimes the ball just goes out. It happens a lot of times, 2 or 3 games in a row. And there are times when I'm just locked in, he said, and the ball really travels. There are also times when it doesn't, and he said, they just don't feel any different to me. At the plate, he doesn't feel any difference between the two. He just said, I know that I like it when they go out.
That's his 3rd home run on this road trip. 1 in Cleveland, 2 here. Had 3 home runs in the month of April. 4 so far here in May.
Got off to a slow start in the minor leagues last year. He had some personal issues he was dealing with, the death of his infant daughter. And, you know, it might be he's one of those guys that just takes him 100 at bats or so to, whether it's the temperature warming up or just getting 100 at bats, that he's a little slow out of the gate.
Well, you'll see a lot of guys like him that are powerful. We talked about Harmon Killebrew. You know, Harmon could get into streaks too, where, you know, he could hit, you know, 3, 4, 5 home runs in a week, and then maybe not for a couple more weeks. But then here it comes again.
2-2 to Plouffe. Dozier will follow. And now a full count.
"92 pitches for Mike Pelfrey, 53 strikes, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Kyle Ryan, one of the 2 lefties out in that bullpen, getting loose.
Scalded to left. And Plouffe will round first. And Upton gets it back in quickly.
Trevor picking up his second single off of Pelfrey.
And now Brian Dozier. And Dozier has tapped out to third and popped up to the third baseman, Castellanos. Up and away, ball 1. Twins with 27 losses, and a loss is a loss, but if there is such a thing as a good loss, last night might have been it. It was an impressive comeback by the Twins. Never won a ball game after being behind by as many as 8 runs, and I guess the good thing was they fell behind 8-0 in the first inning. And when you have 27 losses, there are no silver linings. It's just another loss. But it did show the manager, I think, that guys were continuing to play hard. So far tonight, they've had a good ball game.
It's called character. You find out, who wants to row the boat together and who wants to get off.
Dozier pulls a base hit to left.
So Mike Pelfrey running into a little trouble right here.
It's about the point in the game when they took him out against the Orioles, and it looks like he's on his way out here tonight.
Gene Lamont walking out slowly.
Well, we're going to label this a quick trip, but it's Gene Lamont. And Gene's not used to this. Hasn't done this very often. Of course, he was a longtime major league manager. Pelfrey's done. He gave the Tigers a chance here, but no run support for Pelfrey so far, and a 2-0 Twins lead. Now we get into the Tiger bullpen.
And it's Kyle Ryan coming out of the bullpen, making his 16th relief appearance. A 24-year-old. Been up and down the last couple years with the Tigers. Started this season in the bullpen. Not doing a bad job. 15 2/3 innings, 6 strikeouts, only 2 walks. And he's allowed only 1 home run. Not an overpowering fastball. He gives you a 3/4 type delivery.
Rosario with a comebacker to the mound and a liner to left. Mentioning before regarding left field that Paul Molitor is waiting for Rosario or Arcia to take the job and hold on to it for a while. It can't really be a platoon system when they're both left-handed, of course. Arcia was in there for a while, got some big hits for the Twins. Rosario, a superior defensive player. And a ball lifted down the left field line, chased by Upton, and now on the warning track, but it's back in the seats. 1-1.
Well, I think coming into this year, Rosario high hopes by the Twins organization because of what he was able to do last year. Came up in early May, hit .267 in 122 games. Hit for power, 13 home runs, drove in 50. A lot of extra base hits, 18 doubles, 15 triples last year.
1-1 to Rosario.
But strikeouts are part of his game. 118 strikeouts last year and 453 at-bats.
We talked about it, I think, in your absence with Jack Morris and Roy Smalley. 1-1. Of all the inexperienced players the Twins were, dare I say, counting on this year, Buxton, Sano still hasn't been in the big leagues for a full year yet. They were probably least worried about Rosario because he stepped up and started to hit right away
on the first
pitch. 2-1. And now 2-2.
Yeah, nasty slider right there. Ryan, tall drink of water at 6'6", kind of steps across his body. Going to be tough for a lefty to try to pick up the ball.
See what Rosario can do against the lefty reliever. Chopper towards second. And Kinsler with a double play. The tag was not made, on Dozier. He avoided the tag. And now Paul Molitor wants to take a look at that play at second base. Dozier was not tagged by Kinsler. He flipped to first to get Rosario, and then Cabrera threw to second, and the second base umpire Corey Blazer said the tag was dropped, but we'll take a look here.
Well, watch Kinsler right here. He's charging at Brian Dozier. Dozier just falling back. I don't think there was a tag. The out at first. Now it becomes you have to throw it. And did Brian get that left hand on the bag before Iglesias able to tag him?
I think the Twins are going to challenge this. The heel of Dozier's hand may have gotten to the bag before Kinsler was able to dig out the one-hop throw, or Iglesias, I should say. And Jeff Nelson coming all the way over to the Twins dugout.
Well, Paul and the club just still waiting to hear whether it's an appeal or not.
Of course, the Tigers can't fully. And Vavra is going to, rather than give a simple thumbs up, thumbs down. And the Twins will not use the challenge. So it will be a double play, a weird one. 4-3-6 in the inning ends. And it looked like they got him on the elbow. Miguel Sano going to the opposite field to make it a 2-0 ball game, and now bottom of the 6th, and Jose Iglesias will lead things off. And Hughes delivers strike one.
Yeah, Phil getting ahead in the count, 12 of 18 first pitch strikes. Retired 10 straight Tiger hitters.
There's a bunt. Plouffe, bare hands, fires. Good play by Trevor Plouffe, one away.
Tell you what, Trevor's done a good job at third base. He's committed only one error on the year, and a couple times we've seen him kind of deke that runner a little bit. He was playing a little bit on the dirt, but they're a pretty good bunt. But Trevor comes charging in, bare hands it, all in one motion, getting something on that ball over to Joe Mauer. Nice play.
One down. Okay, over the last 3 starts, Phil Hughes hasn't had many 1, 2, 3 innings. He's had 3 in a row here tonight, and gets the first man of the 6th. Now Kinsler to center, and Santana retreats a few steps, now comes in, and a couple of quick outs here in the 6th.
Yeah, this is the best Phil has looked since that Washington ball game where he lost 2-0, but really settled down nicely here today.
We are less than a month away from the Girls on the Run Twin Cities Spring 5K, but there's still plenty of time to join Fox Sports North Saturday, June 4th at Normandale Community College as we inspire girls to be healthy and confident. To register, visit foxsportsnorth.com. Click on upcoming events. 2 down quickly, and now J.D. Martinez. And missing inside, ball 1. Two and 0. Hughes got through a rough first inning, a loud first inning, 3 lineouts, a great catch by Miguel Sano, and a single by Martinez. Held the Tigers off the board. And now Mauer will chase this foul pop, so will Sano. And it hits the sidewall near the tarp. Really hadn't been much. Well, there have been a few balls hit hard. Certainly Upton hit a solid line drive caught by Santana. Kinsler had a warning track fly ball to left.
And last time Iglesias, remember Trevor Plouffe came in and made that nice little short hop to get him out. So yeah, there's been 3 or 4, 5 nice double plays, or excuse me, plays turned behind him. And you need that to throw shutout baseball, which Phil is doing right now.
And a foul away, 2-2. Pitch count very good, 68. He's got a chance to complete 6 innings and about 70 pitches.
Yeah, look at that, 14 in the first and third. Other than that, outstanding.
Two and 2 to J.D. Martinez. And now a full count with Cabrera looming on deck.
Trying to keep the ball down, work out front. Good pitch.
Slow breaking ball hit high and deep to center, but Santana's out there. And it's another 1, 2, 3 inning for Phil Hughes. 4 of those in a row, and a 2-0 Twins lead.
lead off the 7th inning for Minnesota. Here are 3 things I found out today about Centeno. Oswaldo Arcia told me that he is apparently the ugliest runner in all of baseball. Arcia said he runs like a penguin. No, wait, he runs like a robot. He runs like a penguin robot. And then Miguel Sano said Centeno talks way too much, talks all the time, talks everywhere. But Centeno is new to the Twins, and not a lot of his teammates know him that well. So I asked Juan about himself, and he told me he loves to be outside. He loves fishing and camping and kayaking, that he finds it just relaxing to be out in nature. He is an outdoorsman. And Dick, by the way, Centeno said he would love to do some fishing this summer in Minnesota. He just didn't know where to go or where to begin, and
there's not enough
told him
lakes.
I'd point him in the right direction.
Yeah, maybe you can point him to one of the 10,000 lakes we have.
Centeno lifts it foul. All I know is he's had himself a heck of a road trip. He's caught some good games. The Twins won the 2 games he caught in Cleveland. He's come up with some big hits. 1-2 to Centeno. He'll be followed by Santana. And another foul back.
You know, he's just one of these young kids that was signed by the Mets back in 2007 as a youngster out of Puerto Rico. 9 minor league seasons coming into this year for Centeno with the Mets and the Brewers, a .280 hitter. So the average, pretty good.
Checked his swing, 2-2. You saw Mark Lowe warming up in the Tiger bullpen. Santana will follow, and then Joe Mauer.
Well, fastball away by Ryan. Well, maybe a little cutter. This is up and away.
And lifted foul. Then there's this. He's had 17 at bats. And he's only struck out once. 2-2. Well, roller hits the mound and skips to Iglesias. And 1 away. That'll bring up Santana. May 19th is Star Wars night at Target Field. A limited number
That's better.
of Star Wars night theme ticket packages are available that include a game ticket and Plouffe Skywalker bobblehead. Go to twinsbaseball.com/Star Wars to learn more about the Star Wars night offer.
Very, very nice. You were supposed to read that when we tied the game at 8-8.
Well, it didn't stay tied long enough for me to do that. Here's a ball hit to right field, and J.D. Martinez makes the catch, 2 away. And that'll bring up Joe Mauer.
Ryan's come in and done a good job retiring, getting 4 outs on the 3 batters he's faced. Rosario hit into that inning-ending double play last inning.
Mauer 1 for 3, and his one a big one. He pulled a home run down the right field line. His 2nd home run of the year. And when we showed the replay, the home run was hit on a Mike Pelfrey fastball. We don't see Joe pull fastballs very often. Usually if he pulls anything, a home run or a single or a double, it's on an off-speed pitch. Down and away, 1-1.
Well, his first home run came in Baltimore. Ubaldo Jimenez gave up Joe a home run. Solo home run.
Right off the end of the bat.
Let's take a look at the home run of Joe Mauer. Off of Mike Pelfrey in the 5th inning. That 2-seamer that came back over the plate and ended up over by the tire man.
Just off the outside corner, 2-2. Very close pitch.
A little cutter, breaking ball, slider, just misses down and away.
Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. And Mauer with a swing and a miss. Ryan has gotten 5 outs from 4 batters, but the Twins still have a 2-0 lead. ball.
I said it's going to be a pitcher's duel, and Mike Pelfrey was pitching well until Joe Mauer caught up to that fastball, made it a 1-0 lead, and then the next inning, leading off the sixth, Miguel Sano hits his 7th home run, giving Phil Hughes and the Twins a 2-0 lead. And Phil has 6 shutout innings so far, and he's retired 13 straight. Detroit hitters.
Jeff Nelson's called time. There's an issue out in center field. Not all the batter's eye had advertising on it. There's a panel out there that does some between innings advertising.
Let's do it with Cabrera up. Keep it up there.
The area under where the cameras are there has some advertising. Hughes misses the outside corner. Ball 1 to Cabrera. Liner to left and a ground ball to third so far for the Tiger first baseman. And there's a strike 1-1. 7-2 pitches for Phil Hughes. Breaking ball hit to center. Santana chasing it with the ball, slicing. Santana chases it and can't make the play. The ball free on the warning track, and Cabrera will go to third with a stand-up triple. That ball kept tailing away from Santana, and it looked like he came very close to making another great catch.
Boy, that ball just kept drifting away, and Santana kind of feeling that left hand, it looks like. But, I mean, my goodness, I mean, it's a hanging breaking ball. Cabrera's power. We talked about Sano's power, but Cabrera outstanding power the other way. And Danny just kind of banged into that wall. Almost came up with it right there. Might have lost it, but it's a triple for Cabrera.
Other outfielders are checking on Santana out in center. He ran pretty hard into the lotto sign out there between the scoreboard. So it's a leadoff triple for Cabrera, and now Victor Martinez.
It's kind of like a chain link fence across that board, and I think that's what maybe cut his hand a little bit, his fingers.
Yeah, he's got some blood on his right hand. Twins leading by 2, so they'll play the infield back for Victor Martinez. Outside, ball 1. Martinez with a liner to right. He hit a hooking line drive, and Sano picked it off right before it hit the ground near the foul line back in the first inning. Then a ground ball to Brian Dozier.
Kind of saw a rarity there with Cabrera with a triple, only his 17th career triple.
And Santana retreats again and is able to make the catch, and Cabrera will drive home with the first Tigers run. It's 2-1.
Well, Victor Martinez doing his job, driving in Cabrera with the sacrifice fly, driving in his 22nd run of the year.
The triple ended a string of 13 straight set down by Phil Hughes. And now Paul Molitor to the mound here. 75 pitches for Hughes. Castellanos has hit 2 ground balls to short. No signal to the bullpen yet. In fact, Twins haven't even had any. Tonkin's warming up. Okay.
Yeah, Phil Hughes coming out of the ball game.
75 pitches for Hughes, and he will come out to with Tonkin coming in to face Castellanos in a 2-1 ball game.
I think that's because I face him so much.
I never could hit when he was with the Yankees. He's got one of the best rising fastballs in the game.
Another guy, once he's on the mound, he's all business and he's ready to go.
Like I always say, he never stops throwing strikes. Everything he throws is for a strike. So he's going to come in and either you hit him or you get a hit or he's going to get you out. And that's kind of the way I like it. He doesn't really nibble around the zone. He comes right after you.
He came after him tonight, was taken out after 75 pitches. There are 8 outs to get in a 2-1 ball game.
Yeah, I mean, Paul had not made the move until he went out and talked to Phil Hughes. I don't know if Phil is under the weather a little bit, but 75 pitches, he's on a roll. But a surprise move brings in Michael Tonkin from the bullpen, making his 17th relief appearance. He last worked on Saturday in Cleveland, a shutout inning in the Twins' 6-3 win.
So yes, 8 outs to get, bases empty. It's a 1-run ball game, and the assortment of relievers: Tonkin, Abad, May, Jepson, maybe even Presley will be asked to stitch the end of this game together. 1 strike. Been some issues in the bullpen, but Michael Tonkin has improved over the course of the year. There's a swing and a miss, 0-2. The numbers, frankly, are quite impressive. Now, this is a high leverage situation. We've seen Michael handed some of these in recent weeks.
Yeah, he's only had 3 appearances where he's given up a run.
0-2 to Castellanos. Checked his swing. Nope, 1-2. A 206 opponent batting average. Some early walks, 7 of them in total in nearly 19 innings. 21 strikeouts, which long term the Twins are very intrigued about. They have a reliever, right-handed reliever, who can get more than a strikeout per inning pitch. Now a fastball off the plate, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, Trevor May can do that, but Tonkin has been able to do that too.
Trevor's got 30 strikeouts in 20 innings. 2-2.
Little pinky fastball away. Wow.
Just missed the corner. Now it's a full count.
Well, going to the fastball. Centeno sitting there, but just a bit low.
Full count. And a looper to right and a base hit. Castellanos having the best start to his career, and he is leading the league in hitting, and when you do that, you get hits like that.
Well, he just fought off that high fastball, hit it softly into right field.
So now, Justin Upton.
Take a look at the location. Don't want to walk him. Fastball came running in on him, and Castellanos just fought it off. Only the 4th hit for the Tigers.
And now Upton, who's put the ball in play twice tonight in 2 at-bats. And Tonkin misses inside, ball 1. A pop-up to Mauer, and then he had a screaming line drive that Santana was able to track down in the gap.
Tonkin's had a couple double plays turned behind him on the mound.
Upton's hit into 4 this year. And tied again, 2-0. From memory, Tonkin's highest leverage situation that he's pitched in was the 16-inning game in D.C. Pitched well in that game. There's a strike, 2-1. But ultimately, the Twins envision him filling this role with a live fastball and improving slider. Getting some setup opportunities here in the 7th inning tonight. Drilled to the gap in left center. And it goes over the wall, and that alone will keep the Twins in the lead. That ball was absolutely smashed out near the flagpole. And Tonkin comes in and gives up a couple of base hits.
Well, again, a little surprised. I'm curious to see why Phil Hughes was taken out of the ball game. He was dealing.
How did that ball hit where it hit and then go over the fence? It looked like it hit the fence and bounced over.
You can see the short, compact swing of Upton. And with the power that he can generate. And the ball one hopping over the fence. And it keeps Castellanos at third base.
Now Maben.
For Upton, his 10th double of the year.
In the inning, a triple, a single, and a double. And now the Twins bring the infield in with one out. Now they've just sent Polanco back to the edge of the outfield grass. And Dozier True is retreating. And Maben takes ball one. Maben with a single to right and a fly ball to right. Base hit left field. Castellanos scores. Upton will be held at third, and Tonkin is greeted by 3 straight hits.
Well, Maben fighting off a fastball, hitting it sharply in the left. Upton had to hang around second base as Castellano at third base, make sure it got over the glove of Polanco. Breaking ball that kind of stayed in. Maben picks up his 4th hit.
And Phil Hughes giving up 1 run, and now Tonkin has given up 3 hits and another run. First and third, still only 1 out. And McCann will bat Neil Allen to the mound. 4 hits in the inning, and the Tigers had just 2 hits in the game and none since the 2nd inning. Neil Allen lingering, having a final chat with Juan Centeno as the meeting is broken up. McCann has struck out in the 2nd and hit a ground ball to Dozier. 50 at bats for McCann on the season, and he has struck out 18 times, and Tonkin will try to reach back and strike him out here. And now time called. There's a ball that has come out. If that's out of the Twins bullpen, I presume. And Santana with the retrieve. The inning started with Cabrera's booming triple to right center field. Abad warming up. Trevor May warming up.
Boy, starting this inning, it looked like a night that maybe, you know, some of these guys in a bullpen might not be needed till maybe the 8th or 9th inning.
Given how quickly things happened and how quick the hook was, you know, the Twins had Tonkin warming up at the start of this inning. There's a swing and a miss.
Yeah, not a very good swing right there at that slider.
So, again, I'm sure Paul Molitor and Phil Hughes will be asked about it. What led them to believe coming into the 7th inning that the bullpen might be needed? 1 strike to McCann. Different things in play here. Upton can still run pretty well, and don't know how good of a bunter McCann is. Normally the bench coach, Gene Lamont, is managing the club because Brad Ausmus is serving his suspension tonight. Runner goes, pitch down and away, and Centeno just looks at second and then looks at third.
Yeah, Maben, that's one area that Tonkin has really struggled as far as holding on runners. Maben, who stole a base in last night's ball game, his first game back as a Tiger, got a good jump right there. Centeno holds on to it.
Now the Twins bring the infield in.
You stay out of it. They stay out of the double play. Got to bring the infield in.
Tap foul, and it's 1-2.
You need a strikeout right here. talked about Tonkin able to get some strikeouts. This would be a big one.
1-2. 2-2. Number 9 batter Iglesias is in the on-deck circuit.
He had some ugly swings on that slider. See if he goes back to the slider here.
And he got a piece of it. Before the succession of hits, we were talking about Tonkin's improved slider. That's how he's been able to pick up a lot of strikeouts, more than one per inning pitched. But he's faced 3 batters and given up 3 hits. Another 2-2 to McCann.
There's that slider. That gets a big strikeout there.
Now McCann is claiming that he foul tipped it into the dirt. And Jeff Nelson not buying it. 2 down, and now Iglesias. Paul Molitor coming to the mound.
The slider. Yeah, not even close.
He missed the ball by a foot. Well, Tonkin gets the second out, but not until he gives up 3 hits on the tying run. He will come out of the ball game. And Jose Iglesias will hit with runners at second and third and 2 down.
And the bullpen used again. Taken out, but Tonkin taken out now. Trevor May coming in. And this copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
I think it should be noted that with the puzzle as to why the change was made, you see Tonkin sitting on the bench now hoping that May can get the final out. But Paul Molitor did not come out of the dugout in motion right away. He had a chat with the pitcher and then made the move. Trevor May now hoping to get the final out. The number 9 batter's up. One number not on your screen. May among the league leaders in wild pitches with 5.
Trevor making his 20th relief appearance.
Base hit left field on the very first pitch. Upton scores. Maben coming in behind him, and he will score. The ball skips by Centeno and May, and the Tigers have struck for 4 runs here in the 7th. And Iglesias jumping on the very first pitch.
Well, the scouting report on May, I'm sure, to the Tigers is he'll throw that fastball right off the get-go. And Iglesias look fastball, hit it sharply in the left. Maben and his speed sliding in. Ball scoots away. I think the ball may have hit Maben and then caromed toward the Twins dugout. Yeah, just like that. Now it's a 4-1 ball, 4-2 ball game.
Tigers had 2 hits going into the 7th inning. They have 5 this inning alone and 4 runs. Kinsler will bat with Iglesias at second.
Yeah, it'll be a 2-run single for Iglesias, and then advancing on the overthrow to home.
You could make the case that it was Iglesias' double that was the biggest hit in last night's game. He drove in 3 runs with it, and now a big 2-run single. He entered this series with just 3 runs batted in, and now he's got 8. 1 strike to Kinsler.
You know, if Phil had told something maybe to Neil Allen or Paul Molitor before the inning starts that something's bothering them, then why send them out there to face Cabrera and Martinez?
And a drive to left field. Eight runs in the first inning yesterday, and now 6 runs in the 7th inning tonight.
On May's last appearance on Sunday, a couple days ago, he gave up a home run to Jason Kipnis, and here he gives up a home run to Ian Kinsler.
So the Tigers not only have scored and not only have tied the game and taken the lead, now they've blown it open at 6-2. And here's the 9th man to bat, J.D. Martinez. And he lifts it high and deep to right field. And that's gone. And the Tigers are teeing off on the Twins bullpen.
Back-to-back home runs for the Detroit Tigers.
May coming into the game and given up 2 home runs all year long, and now he's given up home runs on back-to-back pitches.
And the Tigers bat around here in the 7th inning.
Well, the Tigers have exploded. The Twins bullpen has imploded. And Cabrera tries to put a ringer on it with a swing at the first pitch, 1 strike. Cabrera started this with a towering fly to deep right center field. Santana had a long run, and it seemed like the ball was outrunning him. It kept slicing away toward the gap in right center. And Santana got to the vicinity of where the ball landed but didn't make the catch. And that was the start of a very ugly inning for the Twins.
A 7th spot put on by the Tigers in the 7th inning.
On the outside corner, 1-2. Tonkin charged with 3 of the runs. And May's been charged with 3 runs. And each pitcher in this inning has gotten 1 out. Fouled back.
May had that outing on Friday in Cleveland where he worked only 2/3 of an inning, gave up 3 runs, got the loss in that 7-6 ball game. Then a couple days later gave up that home run to Kipnis, and here it gives up 2 home runs.
The right center, and Santana won't get this one either. And the Twins bullpen can't seem to get anybody out. Victor Martinez will bat. May has given up 4 hits, 2 solid singles, and 2 home runs. And Paul Molitor is going to get another reliever. It'll be Kinsler coming in to try to put an end to this awful inning.
anything physically wrong with Phil Hughes. I don't know why he came out of the ballgame. I do not know, and I want to find out why. Whatever Paul Molitor, he told Paul Molitor, Paul made the change. But my goodness, he was dealing. He was dealing. Just because you give up a triple and a sacrifice fly, it's a 2-1 lead. You know, it would have taken a tow truck for me to come off that mound. For some reason, he came out of the ball game.
And the question will be asked, and the answer will be given in the post-game show.
Unbelievable.
Here's Victor Martinez.
This ugly season got uglier here tonight.
Trying without the benefit of an explanation. Here's Kinsler trying to get the last out.
Kinsler coming in for the 4th time out of the bullpen since being called up by the Twins.
I've got to believe there was an issue before Phil Hughes even took the mound in the bottom of the 7th inning. Hence the.
But he threw 5 pitches.
But why else would they have time? There's a line drive finally caught by
let's
Plouffe.
Get out of this inning.
Twins will get off the field, but not until the Tigers take the lead at 7-2. Here, as the Twins come to the plate here in the 8th inning, Jorge Polanco will lead things off.
Against a new Tiger pitcher, Mark Lowe, coming out of the bullpen. Lowe making his 16th relief appearance. It's been a struggle for him. 12 1/3 innings, given up 12 runs, 4 home runs, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts, and 13 hits allowed.
Polanco with one of the 7 Twins hits, a single in the 3rd inning. Up and away, ball 1. Polanco, Sano, and Park. Twins have had a couple of ugly innings here in Detroit. The 8-run first yesterday, and although the Twins were able to come back from that to at least tie the game up, this 7-run 7th will be hard to overcome with just 2 innings worth of at-bats left. 1-1.
Lowe in his first season with the Tigers. Last year with Seattle and Toronto.
Foul back over the Tiger dugout. One and 2 to Polanco. and down and in. One of the shames of what's happened here in the 7th inning, the Twins were, at least in my mind, playing their best game of the year. In the field, a couple of home runs, not an abundance of hitting, but some good at bats throughout the game for the most part. And 3 or 4 really nice plays out in the field. Polanco takes ball 3, and it all goes up in smoke. Sano with a home run his last time up. Full count to the leadoff man. And a chopper foul over by the Twins dugout.
Mark Lowe, 32 years old, originally signed by the Seattle Mariners.
Saw his numbers. It's been a rough start for him.
Signed as a free agent.
4 home runs allowed in 12 1/3 innings. And that is a foul ball by about 1.5 feet. Watch the Twins on the go. Stop by the Fox Sports Go booth on Thursday when the Twins take on the Blue Jays. Download the app. Get a free Go cell phone wallet. Visit foxsportsnorth.com. Click on upcoming events for details. Another 3-2 to Polanco. Checked his swing, took a walk.
Good at bat for Jorge Polanco. Pitch at bat. Gets the walk.
And now Sano drew a walk in the 1st inning, hit a fly ball to center in the 3rd, then hit an opposite field home run. Give the Twins a 2-1 lead. That in the 6th inning.
Yeah, I actually made it 2-0 at the time.
What did I say?
Yeah, 2-1.
Did I really?
Yeah. Still upset.
I'd like to say you get over it, but I'm not sure you will.
No, I don't know if I will.
1 strike to Sano.
Till I hear the explanation on why he came out.
Fouled away. I think until we find out, we need to allow for the possibility that Phil Hughes thought he was done, that the pitcher himself made the decision.
Well, he must have, because Paul went out there with not the intentions, I don't believe, of taking him out. I said before, whatever Phil said, Paul had to make the decision to bring in Tonkin.
2 strikes to Sano.
And it can't be an injury because Phil still was sitting on the bench the whole inning. And the trainers weren't looking at him.
His high water mark in terms of pitches thrown this year, 94. 1 and 2. But tonight just 75. Now outside, and it's Sano now with a 2-2 count. And Lowe not exactly winning any friends in the Tiger dugout right now.
Well, his last 2 starts were short starts as far as, you know, pitches thrown, 58
right.
and 67, but still, you know, he has struggled in those outings, not tonight.
3 and 2 now to Sano with Park on deck. Ball 4, and Lowe, having been given a 5-run lead, walks the first 2 batters in the 8th inning.
Let's go back to the 7th inning. After the sacrifice fly off the back bat of Victor Martinez scored Cabrera, made it a 2-1 ball game. Paul went out there and made the move.
And Paul doing most of the talking and Phil just nodding and saying, yep, yep. And now the Twins, with a couple of walks to start the 8th inning, have Park at the plate.
Lowe signing a 2-year contract over the winter. Action in the bullpen.
Alex Wilson.
Tigers.
Rich Doobie, the pitching coach. "14 pitches thrown by Lowe this inning and only 6 strikes. And these the first walks the Twins have taken since Sano drew a walk in the first inning. Well, Park at the plate with 2 men on, and he takes ball 1. Park with a liner to short, a fly to left, and a strikeout. Fouled away, 1-1. Justin Wilson is down in the bullpen now too for the Tigers. Justin the lefty, Alex the righty.
The Wilson brothers.
1-1 to Park. 1-2.
Well, Lowe's always had a history of control issues. Came into this year with a total of 336 innings pitched. He had 142 walks, but over 300 strikeouts. You take the good and the bad.
Breaking ball got him. Park strikes out looking, 1 away, and that'll bring up Plouffe.
Park striking out for the 2nd time. Take a look at the pitch right here.
Great change.
Changeup.
Yep. Plouffe with a pair of singles. And the Twins just saw the Tigers hit 3 home runs in the bottom of the 7th, and they need somebody to put one in the seats here with 2 men aboard. Plouffe takes at the knees, strike 1. One and 1. 20 pitches, 10 strikes for Lowe. Sliced foul over by the tarp, and it's 1-2.
Not a lot of at-bats for the Twins against Mark Lowe. Trevor Plouffe 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout.
And now Lowe wants to talk to McCann.
Lowe's pitched for the Mariners a couple times, the Rangers, the Angels, the Blue Jays, and now here for the Tigers.
And Plouffe checks his swing, 2-2. And now time called at the plate. Dozier will hit next. Man alive. This is not how a veteran should be handling a 5-run lead.
23 pitches, only 11 strikes.
Gene Lamont probably, if he has a cell phone, probably texting Brad Ausmus saying, "You want your job back?" 3-2 to Plouffe. Might be 2. Low throw, and Cabrera can't hang on to it, so the inning will continue. Now Cabrera claiming that Plouffe made contact with Cabrera as he was trying to field the ball. And first base umpire Ben May says, "I didn't see a thing."
Let's look at Trevor hustling down that line, trying to stay out of the double play. And after ball was already clanked out of the glove right there, when Trevor made contact of the back of Cabrera. I think just trying to maintain his balance as he hit the bag.
That should have been a double play. That was not a good throw by Kinsler. We'll see if the Twins can take advantage of that. Dozier at the plate. Single to left his last time up. Ground ball to third and a pop up to third. McCann scoops out ball 1. And now a strike, 1-1. Strike 2.
Good fastball, good location there at 94 miles an hour. McCann again sitting away.
Left it out over the plate. Dozier gives it a ride, but Maben has plenty of room. Twins take a couple of walks, leave 2 on in the 8th. They're down 7-2. And that, of course, we'll all be listening for the question and the answer. But then the fact of the matter is the bullpen came in and gave up 7 hits and 3 home runs in 9 at bats. At some point, the bullpen was going to be needed tonight.
Well, you're hoping not. I'm going to go the opposite. I don't. Phil was on a roll. Okay, so you give up a triple and a sacrifice fly, still 2-1. But if there was concern about him going out there, he threw only 5 pitches. It wasn't like he threw 20 pitches that inning.
Just 2 home runs allowed by the Twins bullpen. Castellanos, the batter, 1-2. Kinsler will try to get through the bottom of the 8th without any further carnage. And a bouncer to short. Polanco scoops and fires one away. Carsoup.com trivia question.
You said George Brett.
Yeah, and I was already told that's wrong, so I'm switching my answer to Cal Ripken.
That's
Carl Yastrzemski.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Well, he could hit.
And a lot, most of those years, of course, when there were just 10 teams in the league, so you played the Red Sox 18 times back then. The chopper, and Kinsler pounces off the mound, makes a good play, out number 2. Yastrzemski's got a grandson, I believe, in the Orioles organization, who's like at AAA now and is apparently a decent chance he's going to get promoted to the big league club.
Is he a left-handed hitter and holds his bat real high?
I don't know. 2 down, and now Maben. The Twins need to find a way to get this guy out. He's been a pest. He got a base hit and a big one that tied the game in the 7th inning. Ball 1.
Again, Maben just activated last night, got a couple hits, stole a base here tonight. Picked up his first RBI in the 7th inning on the season. Maben, they're 29 years old now, came up with the Tigers in 2007, then spent time with the Marlins, the Padres, last year with the Braves.
And a strike. And he's come back to the Tigers now, and obviously a trade that worked out very well for the Tigers. But at the time, Maben was, a Byron Buxton type of a prospect.
Yep.
Very highly thought of, and a lot of people thought, what are the Tigers doing? Cabrera had not developed into the type of hitter that he's become. But obviously a brilliant move by Dave Dombrowski. Dontrell Willis never got much done here pitching for the Tigers after having some control issues late in his tenure in Miami. Chopper to short. Polanco gets a head-high hop. And Mauer with his second nice backhanded dig at first base. Kinsler has a 1-2-3/8. We'll see if there's any excitement in the 9th. 7-2. The Twins had this game going their way until in the bottom of the 7th. That was the word I used last night. It all went kaflooey. Eddie Rosario will lead off the 9th inning against the new Detroit pitcher, left-hander Justin Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson worked in last night's ball game. He worked the 8th inning, a shutout inning, had a couple strikeouts, 15 pitches, 11 were strikes. He struck out Rosario, the first batter he faced last night. He's given up 7 earned runs. Wilson has, Justin Wilson, in 15 innings pitched.
Swing and a miss twice, and it's 0-2. Centeno and Santana will follow. We'll need a bat around inning here. It was a decent start to the 8th inning. They didn't put a ball in play, but Mark Lowe walked the first 2 batters. But then just 3 more men hit, and no runs were scored. Head high, a swing and a miss, 1 down.
Yeah, that's one of those at-bats that Rosario needs to focus and concentrate a little bit better. Swinging at that pitch, you can see it's shoulder height, if not above the shoulder. So Wilson comes in, picks up a strikeout. Again, he picked up in 2 last night. One of those Rosario.
Now Centeno will bat, 0 for 3, couple of grounders to short and a fly to center. And he takes ball 1. One and 1. Day game tomorrow, and the Twins will go after Justin Verlander. Ricky Nolasco will go for the Twins. 1-2. Centeno making contact. And he has only struck out once so far this year. 2-2.
As Mark Lowe is, Justin Wilson new to the Tigers. Last year with the Yankees, did a great job out of their bullpen. Prior to that with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Breaking ball over for a called 3rd strike. 2 down. What's next? We talked about it. Justin Verlander. We haven't seen much of him in the last year or so, but he'll make the start tomorrow. Ricky Nolasco will go for the Twins. Brought to you by CenturyLink. Danny Santana will get another at bat from the right side. He hit as a right-handed batter in the 7th inning. Hit a fly ball to right. Just 1 hit from this side of the plate this year. Ball 1.
Yeah, that was that base hit in Cleveland that he hit right up the middle, picked up an RBI in that only hit in 13 at-bats.
2-0. Twins need Santana to get it going from this side of the plate. Twins haven't seen a whole lot of left-handed pitching outside of the White Sox. And now 3-0. Bauer would hit next. Three and 1. Strike 2. Wilson now on the verge of striking out the side here in the ninth. Santana's taken.
He fell behind you need base runners. Santana took a couple strikes. Should get another fastball.
Bouncer to 3rd. Castellanos has it. The Tigers have made it now 5 straight over the Twins. Another win for Detroit, and of the 5, this one really stings for the Twins, as the Twins got a really good start from Phil Hughes, but as it turned out, a shorter than expected start.
Well, these 2 nights, 8 runs in the first inning last night, and then here this evening, 7 runs in the 7th inning, a deciding blow to the Twins.
Anthony, the Twins will try to win the series finale tomorrow against the Tigers and Justin Verlander, but everybody wants to know why the first pitching change was made. We'll find out shortly.